Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
So the term freak off is officially a household phrase that everyone seems to know, but have you heard of the Wild King Nights? Now, if you haven't heard about it, let your girl explain it to you. Now, the Wild King Nights is where Sean Combs and other female guests or other, quote, guests would participate in nights of sex, drugs, and alcohol. Now, one of Diddy's ex-personal assistants had to make sure that these Wild King Nights were filled with red lights, ice buckets, alcohol, marijuana, honey packs for male libido, Astro Glide, towels, baby oil, Plan Bs, is suing Diddy for a hostile work environment, as trafficking, as harassment, and a multitude of other charges. So we're going to get into this case, but I also want to update you on the 13-year-old Jane Doe who is suing both Sean P. Diddy Combs and JayZ. The judge is siding with Jane Doe's attorney and stating that Jane Doe does not need to reveal her name, although JayZ and his attorney want her to. Now, speaking of JayZ's attorney, Spiro, he is being raked across the coals by Judge Annalisa Torres, who states that his relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks are useless. She warns him that his conduct is very inappropriate and a waste of judicial resources, and his tactics are unlikely to benefit his client, JayZ. We are going to get into both stories and so much more, but before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this story and so much more. Now let's get back into it. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you've all heard of the Jane Doe who was 13 in the year 2000, who is currently suing not only P. Diddy, but your boy JayZ as well. Now, she is suing for violence under a law in New York City that is meant to protect victims of gender-motivated violence. Now, Jane Doe first filed her suit on October 20th, 2024, and she asked the court to keep her identity anonymous, so she was able to go under Jane Doe. Now, on November 6, 2024, the court temporarily approved her request to remain anonymous, but they stated that they would reconsider the decision as the case progressed. Now, in her initial suit, the only celebrity listed was Sean P. Diddy Combs. There was a male assailant who allegedly helped Sean P. Diddy Combs. That was a male celebrity, and there was a female celebrity, Celebrity B, who happened to watch. As we're all contemplating the possible identities of Celebrity A and Celebrity B, we find out that Celebrity A, who's now a John Doe, is suing Jane Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, for extortion. So Tony Busby was like, look, this lawsuit is obviously a last-ditch effort in trying to stop me from revealing the names in this public lawsuit, and it's not going to work. All I did was send you a demand letter, which is typically done anytime you're getting ready to sue someone. I didn't ask for any money. We simply asked for mediation, but since you want to play the sue game, now I'm going to reveal exactly who you are, Mr. John Doe, and that he did. On December 8, 2024, Jane Doe amended her original complaint, this time including Sean Carter, aka JayZ. That same day, JayZ took to his Roc Nation Instagram account stating that Mr. Busby was a deplorable human being and that JayZ was nothing like the other celebrities, and he could not wait to show Mr. Busby exactly how different he was. On December 13, 2024, Jane Doe spoke anonymously with NBC News, where she stated she had autism, and parts of her story did not really match her original complaint. However, she stated that she was aware that there were inconsistencies with her story. JayZ's attorney Spiro argued that the interview showed her claims had no factual basis and suggested that her lawyer, Busby, had not properly investigated the case before filing it. The lawyer also requested the court to dismiss her amended complaint and impose sanctions on her lawyer. JayZ's team has conducted an investigation stating that Tony Busby has not only stolen from his clients, but he's also given a client an STI. The judge is tired of the back and forth, and she's sticking it to JayZ's attorney Spiro, because she wants it all to stop. The court addressed Spiro's behavior, stating that his repeated filing and harsh criticism of Jane Doe's lawyer, Tony Busby, were inappropriate. Carter's lawyer, Spiro, had violated the court's rules by filing motions without seeking first permission and trying to rush the legal process, and the court made it clear that such tactics were not acceptable. Lastly, the court rejected Carter's request to strike Jane Doe's amended complaint, which is an attempt to get rid of the case because he believes it's without merit. The court emphasizes that the motions to strike are rarely granted and that Carter had not provided enough reason for such a drastic action. Court also further temporarily approved the anonymity of Jane Doe due to the public's interest in the case. Again, this is something JayZ and his attorney were fighting against, however they lost. So it seems like attorney Spiro is willing to get in the mud with Tony Busby, but the judge is not here for it. She wants them to stick to the facts of the case, not trying to dig up dirt on the attorney that's handling the case. So I can say that it's going to be very interesting to see how this case plays out. Many felt that this was going to be an open and shut case, but unfortunately for JayZ, it's not. And not only does he have one case against him, Busby has another one that he hasn't even filed yet. Now on to the new case regarding JayZ's ex-assistant. General allegations. Plaintiff is an African-American male who worked in the entertainment industry before meeting and working for the defendants. Plaintiff started working for defendants formally on or about December 19, 2019. Prior to the formal start date, plaintiff was working on a probationary basis, and after completing probation, plaintiff began working on a non-probational basis starting on December 19, 2019. Plaintiff's formal duties were to provide services to Combs, which include but not limited to getting his food, ensuring that food was available to Mr. Combs, picking up his clothing, laying out Mr. Combs' clothing, running errands for Mr. Combs, and generally being available for Mr. Combs at his beck and call. Although plaintiff was provided a title of senior executive assistant, plaintiff was misclassified as an exempt employee. Although plaintiff was provided different titles like executive assistant or senior executive assistant, plaintiff was Mr. Combs' personal lackey and had to do his personal errands, including but not limited to meals after hours, clean up hotel rooms occupied by Mr. Combs after nights of sexual escapades with different partners or drug binging, hide Mr. Combs' personal activities from certain family members, provide and get Mr. Combs' marijuana, or locate illicit drugs upon Mr. Combs' request, or carry and transport items that belong to Mr. Combs, and book hotel rooms under plaintiff's names without plaintiff's authorization. Plaintiff's supervisors were Sean Combs and Christina Coram. Due to the constant unreasonable demands and expectations, forced test of loyalty, sexual harassment, plaintiff was constructively terminated on or about December 29, 2021. There is no doubt there are certain glamour and perks working for a megastar like Sean Combs, but no one can foresee the unreasonable and improper demands and expectations coupled with the test of loyalty that no one should have to endure. During plaintiff's employment, plaintiff was instructed by Mr. Combs on multiple occasions to ensure his personal bedroom and or various hotel rooms were set up with red lights, ice buckets, alcohol, marijuana joints, honey pack for male libido, baby oil, Astroglide, towels, illegal drugs, and power banger sex machines. I didn't know what that was until I Googled it, and unfortunately, I'm sorry for myself for seeing that. These nights were called Wild King Nights. Wild King Nights are where Sean Combs and female guests or other guests participate in a night of sex, drugs, and alcohol. Plaintiff and others are ordered to set up the rooms, and then plaintiff is responsible to clean up the room to avoid knowing that the Wild King Nights occurred. The Wild King Nights would happen at times without notice and other times are planned. Plaintiff is expected to be on call for the Wild King Nights, which could last for the night or for days. On several occasions, plaintiff would receive a request to bring extra baby oil, Astroglide, marijuana, sex toys, Plan B, Cialis, or illegal drugs to the room. Plaintiff was prohibited to leave the items in the hallway and would wait until he was let in, unwillingly exposing himself to the events in the room and told to leave the items and would then leave. At the conclusion of the Wild King Nights, plaintiff was responsible to clean the room or hotel room and was instructed to remove any evidence that the Wild King Nights happened. Plaintiff would remove any evidence of drugs, condoms, sex toys, remove bodily stains like blood, urine, fluid from the sheets, furniture, and pack away all the items used during the Wild King Nights. plaintiff was further responsible to ensure that no one would talk about the Wild King Nights. As an example, if the Wild King Nights happened in a hotel, plaintiff would clean up the hotel room and then leave the hotel cleaning crew a very large tip to avoid house cleaning from reporting anything that would be later billed. In addition to the above, plaintiff was further instructed to scrub Sean Combs' personal devices, including but not limited to personal phones, laptops, or tablets of any compromising videos. In order to accomplish this unreasonable task, plaintiff would have to again unwillingly see the video and then erase it. Plaintiff was instructed that if any of Sean Combs' family sees the video, either on the personal device or cloud-based storage, plaintiff would be terminated with negative comments so that he could never be in the entertainment industry, as well as other possible repercussions. Plaintiff saw Mr. Combs' violence firsthand. At a time in Miami, Mr. Combs became upset at a guest and became violent. Mr. Combs kicked the guest in the butt and stomach. Christina Coram asked plaintiff what happened, and plaintiff told her how upset he was about it. Defendant Coram instructed plaintiff to never speak about it, and there are repercussions that can happen if he did. Plaintiff was aware that nice gifts and nice dinners were given to the guests to make up for the situation. Plaintiff's duties were not localized to the city of Los Angeles. As part of plaintiff's duties, he would travel with Sean Combs to various locations in the United States and other countries to perform his duties, as explained in the complaint. Plaintiff spent at least 14 months out of the 25 months where he worked for Mr. Combs on a schedule of 7 consecutive days, 24 hours a day. Unknown to plaintiff and without plaintiff's authorization, hotel rooms were booked and paid for by using plaintiff's name. When plaintiff traveled with Mr. Combs, plaintiff was instructed by defendants that he was in charge of the MVP bag, which was a black Gucci bag. The bag was placed in a safe with a password, making it difficult for customs to identify. During domestic and international travel, plaintiff had to ensure that marijuana and other illicit drugs was on personal jet or charter for Mr. Combs. This bag contained the illicit drugs along with various sex toys. Plaintiff was told to be in charge of the bag and to keep it with him 24/7. During plaintiff's employment, he was instructed to show his loyalty to Sean Combs. If plaintiff refused, he was told he would be terminated and would be blackballed from the industry, along with other repercussions. During one particular loyalty test, Sean Combs had 2 female guests present. Mr. Combs instructed plaintiff to prove his loyalty to the king. Mr. Combs began rubbing the plaintiff's shoulders and told him to take a shot of tequila to calm his nerves. He pushed plaintiff to one of the female guests and informed plaintiff to have sex with the female guest. Mr. Combs further instructed the plaintiff to have sex with one of the female guests. Following Mr. Combs' instructions, plaintiff undid his pants and exposed himself to Mr. Combs and the female guest, who put a condom on his Johnson and to have sex with her. Plaintiff was very uncomfortable and unsure what to do, but he followed Mr. Combs' instruction out of fear that plaintiff would be fired and blackballed. Plaintiff asked the female guest if this was all right, hoping that she would say that she did not want to do this, but she stated it was all right. Mr. Combs stated that since the female guest said it was fine, the plaintiff should put the condom on and have sex with her. Plaintiff proceeded for a few moments. Feeling extremely uncomfortable, plaintiff quickly stopped and left the room upset. Plaintiff's loyalty would often be tested. One night, plaintiff was dismissed before midnight after starting the day at 9 a.m. Plaintiff made it home and received a call from Combs telling plaintiff to come back to the house because he needed plaintiff's help. Plaintiff did as he was instructed and came back to Combs' residence, and upon his arrival went directly to Mr. Combs' bedroom, where Mr. Combs was there with the guest. Mr. Combs instructed the plaintiff to get his remote and give it to him. Plaintiff was upset at this treatment but remained silent as there was a guest and retrieved Mr. Combs' remote and gave it to him. Mr. Combs proceeded to tell the guest, "See, he is loyal and now he can go back home." Plaintiff was essentially treated by Mr. Combs like an animal playing fetch in order to prove his loyalty. This was extremely humiliating and demeaning to plaintiff. These type of events were a regular occurrence with Mr. Combs. Not only did plaintiff constantly have to prove his loyalty to Mr. Combs, but plaintiff was also instructed never to eat in front of Mr. Combs or he will be punished. Plaintiff would work various schedules which varied depending on where plaintiff would be at. If plaintiff was in Los Angeles, he would work at least 5 to 6 days consecutively and be on call on the 7th day from 9 a.m. to midnight. If plaintiff was with Mr. Combs in a different state or country, plaintiff would be working 24/7, and even if Mr. Combs was sleeping. During his employment, Mr. Combs was very volatile. Mr. Combs would require plaintiff to come to his room while Mr. Combs was fully undressed and do certain things which Mr. Combs expected him to do, like getting him coffee, water, juice, and food. On several occasions, plaintiff would have to bring Mr. Combs his food. If the food was not to Mr. Combs' liking by saying the food is not godly enough for him, plaintiff would have to bring it back down and inform the chef and bring it back up at least 3 to 4 times. At times, Mr. Combs tossed the food at plaintiff and told him to tell the chef the food has to be prepared to his liking. During COVID, plaintiff was told he had to work with Mr. Combs, who was infected with COVID, and told to keep it a secret. Plaintiff was instructed that he had to remove his mask when Mr. Combs wanted him to speak. During COVID, plaintiff was instructed to attend a trip with Mr. Combs to Turks and Caicos for Mr. Combs' 51st birthday. Although Mr. Combs was infected with COVID, plaintiff did attend where several well-known celebrities attended. One of those celebrities became infected with COVID and called to inform them that he got COVID and wanted to ensure no one at the party had COVID. Plaintiff was instructed to keep quiet. Plaintiff did as he was told, and Mr. Combs stated to plaintiff, "I understand you do music," and stated that Mr. Combs will be launching a new label, and with plaintiff's green eyes and light skin, plaintiff will make a mark. This comment was another way defendants manipulated plaintiff and controlled him. The services that plaintiff had to do for Mr. Combs extended to Mr. Combs' guests. Defendants would provide plaintiff's phone number to the guests and inform the various guests the plaintiff is there for them 24/7. Plaintiff would get requests to get food, to buy things, or get things, and plaintiff would comply. In addition to being the guest's personal servant, plaintiff was also responsible to ensure that guests were taken home after Wild King nights or any night. After 2 years of working with Mr. Combs, plaintiff was constructively terminated from his employment. At this point, it hasn't been that much in these lawsuits that I absolutely not believe. Diddy seems like at some point he was a diabolical individual. Hopefully he's changed, but knowing him, he probably hasn't. And as far as the Jigga Man goes, it does not seem like JayZ stands a chance when it comes to this judge. What I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything now going on in the world of JayZ and now the world of Diddy? Leave a comment and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. As always, thanks for watching. But before you go, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of my new episodes.